Okay, so we had an interesting thing occur, which is that we're watching TV, which is pretty rare for us. Before 2 days ago, and since then we've been watching a bunch. I don't know why. It's not doing anything for us, quite honestly. We didn't watch any TV. We didn't. I mean, hardly turn it on, except for then we saw the British Parliament, and they made that Parliament like the belly of a ship, probably a ship of the line of the British Admiralty, and that thing is alive and well. Okay, that Parliament is like really something happening. Okay, they really were there. You could see that Parliament is never going out. That is a candle that is well. It's they got a way there. They got a way. You could do a million things that didn't work, and that Parliament works. Okay, that's something that we should make sure we save. We have to save that Parliament. It has to be operating always, forever and ever. That Parliament is necessary. Okay, period. Okay, that's the Parliament that started it all. Okay, for democracy. And, we'll just have to make sure that that stays. We saw that Britain is, doing some politics now, and there was a confidence vote, and there's some European Union, okay, stuff, and there's a lot of stuff. It's a country. Those things are all the way back to Margaret Thatcher. Okay, when they were thinking about that and immigration and employment and how's it going to be, and then they came up with all those things, and somehow it's a major situation, but they got to save something like the British World Service. Okay, is a worldwide network of journalists that report in 30 languages to the BBC every day, and it's the best news service in the world, okay, that we ever seen. They're better traveled than any other country at an earlier time, so far as I know. Okay, at a different age, some people might have traveled widely, but they travel on foot, or they travel different. So they were traveling with ships, they were traveling with rail, they were building it, and they were really knowing the people. And they are brilliant. Okay, being English, they have a type of way of seeing. It's not offensive, and it's brilliant, and it's everybody can accept them worldwide, every country. Okay, I love them. That's something that country has always got that. Plus, they got the post office. Okay, which is a massive thing, even though. In Canada, Canada Post is really a foundation. Also, in Britain, I think that they kind of developed things like all kinds of scientific and technical accomplishments occur at the same time that had to do with and were delivered by things like the postal service. Okay, the scheduling of people and organizing of teams and the coordination of like a delivery and a efficiency and a set of values, okay, that have to do with that, and they're with our courier service and our postal service to this day. They're really real. Okay, they're good. Then and the train, of course. Okay, trains is shipping. So they have a lot of arm, or like a happy business tentacles. Okay, we could say. Okay, so it's not this same word. Okay, it's a it's like a starfish. Okay, they're fantastic. Okay, so they're really good. Now, what was I saying? So all of a sudden, then the British Parliament was on, okay, TV, and so I watched that a bunch of times. It's only 30 minutes or something, and each time was a beautiful, like, whoosh, bright light. Okay, so it's good. And now we see it from time to time here and there, so that's nice. We hope that it's productive for us. I think our Parliament is very staid. The people arrived, and they weren't fighting for something. They were knowing that they're the first people in the first Parliament. Okay, it's been firstly organized, and it's very hierarchical. It came in with the hierarchy coming from Europe, from England, okay, and also Quebec possibly, from France, and arrived in with although within the English umbrella, yeah. And that was then people were saying what their family represented and saying, okay, stuff like that. So it was interesting. That's more of a at-home type of thing. Okay, a little bit. But I think it'll be interesting to see if we put a little bit of that ship into our parliament, we might come up with something that fizzes. Okay, in a good way. Okay, that because it's that sort of country where there's a lot of room, and the parliament has a lot of stuff that is that's for one perspective and not necessarily for another perspective. Okay, and if it's all really looked at, then we'd really get to see more about it. And now we could have a showroom, or somehow they need to make a theater into it, like not in the parliament, but near. Okay, somewhere we need a theater that's showing, like maybe the National Theatre that's in Ottawa. Okay, I never noticed it showing that, but I presume they might be making programs about the bills and legislation of the day. Okay, of the government, I'm not sure. Okay, in Montreal, like Quebec has a lot of intelligentsia that's in Quebec City and Montreal and Toronto. Okay, has our people, okay, lots of people. All of the cities of those regions, they're big enough, with enough university, like kind of what do you call it, like a Milky Way. Okay, enough of mixing. Okay, of plans of peoples and families, that there's things that are rising. Okay, so it's very interesting. And all Vancouver, of course, is giant. Winnipeg. Okay, Winnipeg is that's like we should be hearing about Winnipeg stories in the news. Here I am. I'm trying to make that in Canada we would be making news that has to do with the Hudson Bay, bringing profit, the big fat belly of Hudson, to the Canadian cast of persons. Like, we could be making a show every hour. Okay, my friend says every hour. Just think about that. And there's only hundreds of people, or tens of hundreds or something. Okay, there are tens of 100. Yeah, maybe, or something, some number. I don't know what the number is. We can put 100 million people there. Okay, right on the belly button. And they would not miss a minute of people needing those shows. And they're not about, China has a lot of profit shows. We could be playing those. Okay, and Paris, France must have profit shows. Okay, I bet they have a lot of good shows. Okay, but for Canada, the specific person who's in that hierarchy that's got the origin that's almost monopoly-ish. Okay, and then it's past the century. The 19th century is a pretty heavy filter. Okay, a lot of people got jammed against wars or famine or poverty. Okay, a lot of filtering from the communities. People had difficulty making it, and out they go. And okay, who knows what happened? A bear. Okay, a black bear. Okay, that's it's invisible. There's no team of people doing it. When I talk to people here about that, I got the impression that I'm hearing, that the shows about war are to let us know that 50 million people are leaving. Oh yeah, you usually wouldn't notice because they just go walking out of your town and they never make it to the next town. Okay, that's the whole thing. That's the whole message. They go for a walk because they don't have a job, they don't have a house, they don't have they're eaten by a bear. Okay, and that's, I don't know what it is. Okay, I'm not sure if it's so, but we have a sense that it's, I don't want to get rid of bears. I like black bear. Okay, that's fine. But we could organize stuff a bit more. Okay, we could organize things a lot more and educate people from an earlier age to deal with that situation. I noticed that we have a type of education that's delivered a certain way in metaphors previously in the 19th century. That's how people talk when the number on the board is the number 19. Okay, they talk in metaphor so that their message is not necessarily like, I'm still here, of course. Okay, so that their message is not necessarily visible. I myself don't know that language that very well. I saw it when I was a kid. My father and my grandfather talking. Okay, not a bad thing. Okay, in the living room, everybody's all's well. Okay, it's a beautiful house. It's a beautiful meal. I guess we probably had lunch or something, and they're talking together. It wasn't the first time I'd seen them talking it, but it was the time when I had been kind of waiting to see it, then saw it, and kind of marked it, but was told don't mark it. Okay, oh, and that was, I don't know if I've seen it since then. Okay, that's maybe 1970s. Okay, a long time ago. I'm a bit older. Oh, not too old. Oh, I'm young enough. Oh. And anyway, now lots of people talk that language. In high school, they're goofing around about girls. Okay, well, they better talk about girls as much as they can, until they really get that language. And they won't have it until somebody gives it to them. Okay, or they better talk about money. Okay, money is good. Or microwaves. They could talk about energy waves, like a pot smoking people used to talk about physics a lot. Okay, I love physics. Okay, I know some of those conversations are remarkably similar to some theories, some physics theories. Anyways, and I think it's people telling each other about the metaphor level of energy, okay, waves being the foundation of the world, foundation of matter, the foundation of interactions of matter. And those are very sexy topics. Okay, mostly they're trying to sweet talk a girl, which is fine, or win some friends, or see what people know, see their stuff. If there's special things that they do, especially their name. Sometimes a person is all the same, except they have special abilities to do with their name. Hopefully they don't injure each other while they're showing it. Okay. Then that's how Canada people can grow. That's how people from the world, the little persons, the big person, every person can grow and grow and grow. The biggest people show those things far away, 100 kilometers, hundreds of kilometers away from themselves, in the right city, in the right address, in the right country, okay, somebody is doing something, and somebody who is them somehow notices it on the planet Earth. Okay, on the planet Earth. Can you imagine? Okay, how is it? It's true. Okay, I think that's how they have their bigness. Seems to be actually a sensitivity to littleness, to the specific, to the remarkable distance, to the creature that is not the big person, the boss, the paper boy, the store clerk. It's a tree or a bird that land on it. Okay, it's like a calculation of some sort. It flutters its wing a certain way. The person who's standing right there might notice it. If they are speaking, they would be intelligent. They would be telling themselves about it. And if it's a master person, somehow their brain is sensing those sorts of things. Okay, then Canada is a place that's like that, full of nature, full and beautiful. Somehow we have to bring in all those people. They need room. Okay, they need places, some of them. And we need to practice for space, practice building a community in one effort. We would think of it. How are we going to do it? Have everybody go to university together. Have everybody go to college together. Both maybe at the same time in the same city. And all those people, a cohort, they would call it, can be the crew. We can say that's 100,000 people. Okay, somewhere. And find out people in and out. Okay, it's not a bad thing. This crew, this city, that city. Okay, therefore, and they build a city together at once. A neighborhood is 100,000. That's okay. That's what they do, and then they spend I don't know how long together. They might be together. Okay, for 80 years. Okay, and expect it to last. Okay, and so that's what they got to do. We got to practice that and figure it out. We got to become a master of that level of success. And it's not a bad thing. Okay, who wants off that ship? It's a beautiful ship. Okay, we can make the ship we want. They can get a transfer, not no way off, but it's expensive. Okay, somehow, okay, it's not free. We have a little bit of a physical metaphor, but you could take an airplane there today. You know, even a person of a modest income, they could sell their car and you take an air flight, and they're the only passenger on the plane. Okay, and they can get there and they can get back, and it's all safe. Although they have to have a really big snowsuit, and it costs them that much. Okay, but they arrive, and they would have something to tell about it. So that's what they have. That's what we have in Canada, and we have a lot of wish for immigration, a lot of beautiful people. Okay, a lot of wonderful international computation. We met some person with the international computation. When I visited Britain, I met somebody who represented somebody very high, who's a friend of my mom's. And that was wonderful, nice, just for a moment on a bus. And, she told me more about me in that maybe a fraction of a second than the computations of the hometown or province. Okay, for the previous 5 years. Okay, or something like that. That's okay. That's fair. They told me plenty, and she told me plenty too. Wonderful thing that I did not know. What is that? Oh yeah, what is that about? But I thought that's very fine. Yeah. Maybe the way that we're speaking it today sounded bigger than the way the experience sound before. It sounds like it's a very big thing, but the computation is a, what do you call it, like a fair bit. Okay, it was. That's how I measure. That I said the computation in our country is less than that. It's a new country, and it doesn't have that computation. So maybe it's less complex. But theirs has a lot of complexity. Then when I met people from older countries, the complexity is sometimes